abusuya micha na mesan so emo akwa ba me channel so ha eda so aye be media gh abusuya be so ase ena ne dedi connect channel so eni dio kwan so abusuya be so subscribe be like na wa bo anso a share am for person be tie no anya bi ati na abusuya eye Ken Ofori Atta yes me no me nu ya we say ICE atumi aso eye ye former eye finance minister Ken Ofori Atta omonsa aso nu ma chese papai chese omo aditeni no ewo eye America bonten so na yade a eye Ken Ofori Atta ne lawyer a ne din ede eye Frank Davis abusuafo amane boni echimu echese papai atumi akopie mu ewo eye America bonten so ene eye America Judicial Authority abusuan akodi enkomo na papai aba chese papai ye Ken Ofori Atta ne lawyer abusuan wa breaksilence wa kansem ede afa eye Ken Ofori Atta ho chene nsemu asene enuma esi kono abusuafo Ken Ofori Atta chese ensem na no den yentie enkomo a chese aba abonten a efa eye Ken Ofori Atta ho chese no an lawyer atumi ede aba abonten this time yentie mra sese ha eda so aye be media gate body aso be subscribe like na abusua wa bo anso a share am for person be tie no anya bi ati yedama
news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, Kenneth Ofori Atta remains detained in the U.S. That what we do know right now, but that is really mean that his move to Ghana in terms of the extradition efforts doesn't make it any easier with his detention by ICE. Stay with us. We've got a conversation on this, but the latest from his lawyers. That's the lawyers, one of the lawyers for Kenneth Ofori Atta, that is lawyer Frank Davis, has been speaking, is explaining the circumstances that led to his detention in the United States and how they hope to secure his release. We'll hear from him shortly. Earlier when he spoke to Joy News. We'll recall that in a bit. But then again, let's show you pictures of what we do know about this detention center. This is the Caroline Detention Center in Virginia in the United States. And this is how the detention center looks like in terms of the sitting area, and then also where the detainees are kept. We'll give you an idea of how the rooms also look like. This is it. This is the Caroline Detention Center. Shortly, we'll show you a Google Earth image of the location of this particular detention center that we're talking about. And I tell you what, that has also generated conversation about what this detention center really is and the history behind that. Here's what we do know. This is it. This is where this detention center is located, the Caroline Detention Center in Virginia in the United States, right? We'll put that on the screen right now. And this is it. This is where Ken Ofori Atta is being kept right now. Okay, when we zoom in closer, this is the facility that we're talking about here. Okay. This is it. This area. This is the location as we have it. And it is this particular facility which ICE is using as a detention center for persons who are either going through a process of seeking asylum in the United States of America, and also, as we did see in the letter by Ken Ofori Atta's lawyers, persons who have overstayed their welcome, especially in the United States. It's a commitment by the United States government to ensure, at least after Donald Trump took over a couple of years ago, to ensure that, look, the persons who are staying in the United States illegally are made to face the full rigors of the law. So this is the facility in question right now. This is where the interests of all Ghanaians who have been asking questions about the whereabouts of Ken Ofori Atta and whether or not he's going to come to Ghana after this detention. Well, this is it. You should pay attention to this particular area. We'll tell you a bit more about this location as we go on here on Ghana Tonight. But Frank Davis is one of the lawyers for Kenneth Ofori Atta. That's a former finance minister. He's been speaking to Joy News, giving some details about exactly how all of this played out when he was picked up and how he's doing as we speak. Take a look.
There is nothing to be of any significant concern to the legal team. Because what has occasioned is detention, so to speak, is a purely immigration matter, which is common and routine. Indeed, for whatever reason, if your visa stay or period is about to lapse and you have reasonable belief that you have to remain in the jurisdiction of the country for an extended period, you are allowed, as it were, put in a petition for your immigration status to be evaluated and determined. So it is customary with the U.S. immigration procedures and practices and processes. So it is nothing new. It is nothing new. So yes, the petition has been lodged with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is popularly known as the ICE, and they are reviewing the petition. In fact, the counterpart legal team, our counterpart legal team in the United States,
right,
the team that our Attorney General and leader of the bar has described as a very experienced and cracked legal team, is working on the petition. And in the fullness of time, a determination will be made one way or the other, based solely on the merits of the petition. So there is nothing to be worried. I will not speculate and speak on that. That is not the reason why you called me. So let us focus on why you called. I'm not able to speak to that proposition that we have filed for an extended or permanent residency in the United States. In whichever environment you find yourself, you learn to adapt. Like I always say, the good Lord God is keeping Kenneth as he's keeping all of us. He will make do with the limitation of the circumstances now. And when the matter is determined, he will have his freedom and liberty today. So yes, it is not the best of facilities if you know that Caroline detention facility. But whatever it is, be that as it may, that is where the circumstances of his stay have found it. So he will learn to abide. That should tell you the sincerity of the man we are talking about. You have just said something which is very poignant and significant. He could have opted for that option. But because he didn't have any intention to run away from this jurisdiction, he went purposely for a medical procedure. So that was why his visa, strictly speaking, his visa is supposed to lapse or determine on the 14th of February, St. Valentine's Day. But because he is still attending on to his medical procedure on the recuperative stage, he thought it wise to extend his stay so that he can still receive the best of medical treatment where he is. So yes, he could have opted for that option, but he didn't think it was necessary at the time, and it is not necessary now. The petition will be determined, and we will all know the outcome. The mere fact that he is in a detention facility will not absolve him of whatever medical treatment he's supposed to give. I mean, we all know the Americans and the developed democracies of this world. We see it in the films of all. They are given the very best of treatment. The movies are there for us to evaluate. They are given the very best of treatment. So it has nothing to do with whether he will run a shortage of medical treatment or medical attention. Whatever is supposed to be done for him to stay strong and healthy will be done. I believe in that. Whatever the government has to do in the enabling circumstances, I believe that as this matter is unfolding, I mean, they'll come out with their own state. But for now, whatever we say is limited to. But the circumstances for one to be put in a defensive, whatever faces a particular individual.
Well, so that's Frank Davis. He is one of the lawyers for the former Finance Minister, Kenneth and Ofori Atta, and they did indicate a number of things, touching on the petition that Kenneth Ofori Atta has actually put in place, specifically about his status in the United States, which is the reason why he's actually being held in this detention center in the first place. You hear Frank Davis describe this detention center as not the very best of places with the very best of conditions. Okay, this is what we know of the outside, or the, at least we do know from the eyes and the lenses of Google Earth, this Caroline Detention Facility. This is where it is in Virginia. This is how it looks like, and also a specific issue about where it is located. A very, very secure facility, as a matter of fact. And here's what we do know about this facility in terms of its history. I'm going to tell you about it. This is it. This Caroline Detention Facility is a 336-bed correctional facility located near Bowling Green, that's in Virginia, adjacent to Route 301. The facility is 6 miles north of the main entrance to Fort A.P. Hill, surrounded by Army base. That's what you see, and that's what I was talking about, that this is in a secured facility, and it's in a very secured area. So where the former finance minister has been detained now, from what we do know about this particular facility, that is the Caroline Detention Facility, is surrounded by the Army base. It's not part of the installation of the Army, but actually surrounded by the Army base, and opened in September 1999, and also features a campus-style layout, and that's what we're going to put the pictures on the screen right now. I'll tell you why this has been described as a campus layout sort of detention facility designed to operate as a fourth-generation direct supervision facility, and then also low custody inmates from 6 jurisdictions and the Virginia Department of Corrections were housed at the facility until March 2017. Currently, through a contract with the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE, this Caroline Detention Facility houses federal detainees who are undergoing the administrative process of either asylum in the United States or removal from the country. So take note of this. The detainees who are in this facility are undergoing the administrative process of either asylum in the United States or removal from the country. This is what this facility, Caroline Detention Facility, is indeed meant for and is doing, essentially. Now, let's go on to Zoom right now and find out a number of things as to how this development impacts on the extradition request of Ghana, and then what more we do know about the other expiration date of other visas that Ofori Atta has. And joining us right now on Zoom is Manasseh Azura when he said,
all right, that was your teachers and some of the movie and your call. A cocotin and I'm sure you made you like your bell, like subscribe to the channel after so share you made you know my afro phones and into me and can be a whole brass sequence so much so much under the comment section. I feel some mumbo room. I will a far at us, you know, near Cotier and come a course.
An investigative journalist has been following through a story that he did, which is one of the reasons why Ofori Atta is being in fact, prosecuted right now by the Office of Special Prosecutor. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Manasseh, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Alfred.
First off, let's confirm this. Frank Davis talks about his U.S. visa. I'm talking about Ofori Atta's U.S. visa expiring on the 14th of February. That's next month, Valentine's Day. Is this consistent with the information that you have?
Yes, I think I first gave this information on your show last year, and it is consistent that next month the U.S. visa will expire.
Now, what more do we know about the other visas that Ofori Atta has, and the options in which countries that he still has valid visas to travel to?
Yes, he has valid visas to the United Kingdom and also to Canada. And then the UK visa will expire in 2032. The exact date is April 21st, 2032. That is when Ofori Atta's visa to the United Kingdom will expire. And then his Canadian visa will also expire in 2031. May, that's May 31st, 2031, his Canadian visa will expire. So these are the two foreign visas that are active on his passport now.
I see. When I say stay with me, and Martin Pibble is private legal practitioner, and he's also joining us on Zoom. Counsel, you've been on the heels of the Office of Special Prosecutor for allowing, quote-unquote, Kenneth Ofori Atta to leave the jurisdiction, and that's one of the reasons why you are asking that the Special Prosecutor be sacked. Well, this is the development, okay? The Kenneth Ofori Atta has been detained, and you've heard his lawyers. We have applied for his extradition to their general platforms, and this is it. You'll find all of this information as we've detailed on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook, and also on 3news.com, so that you can also follow every step of the way. Coming up next on Ghana Tonight, the National.
Good evening, Alfred.
Great. Now, the ministry is saying that that's the National Union of Ghana Students, is adequately represented on the governing board of the Scholarship Authority. In fact, they are dismissing your concerns raised earlier in that statement you put out. Now, just for the benefit of the uninitiated, we're going to put on the screen the specific concerns of as to why they have not been represented, or the student body has not been represented on the newly constituted board of the Scholarship Authority. They say they express deep concern and principled objection to the inauguration of the Scholarship Authority Board in its current composition, owing to the complete absence of the student representation. Students are not incidental stakeholders within the scholarship framework. They are its core purpose. Scholarships exist to promote equity and expand access to education and secure the academic futures of students, particularly those from vulnerable and disadvantaged backgrounds. A governing board established to oversee such a mandate, yet constituted without the voice of students, raises serious questions of legitimacy, fairness, and democratic accountability. So these are the concerns, okay? And then the Ministry of Education issued a statement also responding to these concerns. And we're going to put that on the screen right now. And Rashid, this is in response to these concerns that you put out there. They say that you are adequately represented and that the civil society organizations' representation on this particular newly constituted Scholarship Authority Board represents your interests as student bodies. Does that address your concerns?
Okay, thank you for having me here, and I wish to greetings to your listeners and viewers as well. Greetings to your listeners and viewers.
I can hear you. I can hear you and see you. So keep talking and don't watch the television. Okay, right?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So I think prior to the enactment of the Act, that is the Scholarship Authority Act, we were made to understand that is, if you look somewhere in last year, the middle of last year, there was some issues concerning the same omission of looks from the Scholarship Authority Board. In fact, my predecessor wrote letters in response to that. So they suspended the passage of the bill, and then they said they called for a stakeholders engagement to make sure that NUPS is actually represented on the Scholarship Authority board. In fact, that was assurance given then. And the bill was laid before Parliament again for its passage, and then it was successfully passed. In fact, it has been passed, and now it is an act of Parliament. Yesterday, the board was inaugurated, and then it will interest you to know that there was no student rep on the board, but the statement that the ministry has released is not in response with what we wrote. That is not part of our demands. Because if you say that civil society organization, NUCs should be subsumed under civil society organization, that cannot be the law. Because if you look at GetFund is also established by an act of Parliament. If you look at the composition of NUCs there, it states clearly, expressly, unambiguous, that the National Union of Ghana Students should nominate a student to be on the board of GetFund. Why can't we do same when it comes to Student Scholarship Authority? because we see that scholarship is something that borders on students. And if you are coming to administer something that borders on students, this is not, scholarship is not meant for market women. It is not meant.
But Rashid, they say, and I'm going to read what is on the screen. They say, through an inclusive process, it was concluded that civil society organizations will be the umbrella body on the governing board. Accordingly, the National Union of Ghana Students, NUGS, is rightfully represented on the board in accordance with the provisions of the law. So the CSO rep is your rep. They are encouraging you, the leadership of NUGS, to engage with your immediate past leadership to fully acquaint yourselves with the details of this representation and related processes. So, and they talk about commitment to transparency, inclusiveness, and collaborative governance in the management development in Ghana sector. But then again, have you contacted your predecessor? Because what the ministry is saying is that whatever they have done now, your predecessor committed to it.
Yes, thank you. I have done that. I have consulted my predecessor, and he has denied this categorically, that